Hey everybody, this is Striker with another episode of Let's Try the Witness. And I am back with, unfortunately, more of these bird puzzles. I think I have the solution. As you can tell, the cord's not lit up, so I haven't actually tried this. This could be another 30 minutes of me languishing. I hope it's not. I hope this works. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that on YouTube, huh? Oh, gosh. I don't know what is acceptable and what is not on YouTube, to be honest. Good. Are you kidding me? Now it's... Man. I guess I'm just running around looking for a pink cord now. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank God. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad this is over. Oh. This area sucked. Not from like a game perspective, like I am sure that some people are, very in tune with pitches and frequencies and like don't mind that. In which case, probably great puzzles, like very different, very unique. But for me, I have a very high sensitivity to high frequency noises, and it sucked. It was terrible. Yeah, never want to do this again, ever, ever, ever. Well, one more down. So, slightly quieter in here. Let's talk about my plan. So we have the quarries down. We have the area by at the base of the mountain where the water is, with the Tetris puzzles. I think you have been calling them Tetronymos or something like that. I don't know. I've never heard of the word. I'm going to call them Tetris puzzles because that makes sense to me. The other one was the town, which we also have to reflect a laser there, and then there's also, we're pretty close to it, so I think what we're going to do is head over here, and I also need to go back to that hedge maze. My head hurts still from that. This definitely looks like something probably, have we been? I mean, it's cool. I don't think we've been down there. This whole thing looks like a path, probably from the water. I think we're gonna have to go down further to get back up. That's my guess. Hopefully, yes, there's a way through without going through the forest of death calls. That looks like it could be the beginning of a circle, if put in the right spot. Possibly. Maybe... It's not going to be here, but I mean, it definitely looks like something there. Alright. I think this was just as simple as making sure that the blacks ended up on a different side of the line than the whites did. Okay. Been a while since we've done that. Let's see if we can walk around this. No, we can't walk around this. Interesting. On in the water, it might be something there. Okay, flowers. I don't know if these are new because they're scratched out. Separate the colors, perhaps? That's not gonna work. Separate the colors. Separate the colors. separate the colors. Separate the colors. What? I honestly don't know what I did wrong that time. There's so many of these. It's a cool little, like, I'm trying to think of what the proper word for the it's not really a greenhouse. Separate the colors. I don't know what it's called. Separate the colors. Separate the colors. It's not gonna work. Yeah, shoot. Suddenly come to a screeching halt. Apparently should have come here sooner. Like these, this is stuff that we've not necessarily learned elsewhere, but like figured out through doing other puzzles, I think is a good way to put it. I mean, this is similar to this, just twisted. It's literally just these pieces are turned. Oh gosh. Let's see. That's not gonna work. Not quite gonna work. It's close to working. I could... No, I can't close that off though. How do you... Got it. Ooh, alright. Nope, that won't work. If it's close, it's very close. What am I missing here? There's obviously no way to completely square these out. Well, no, actually there would be if I went like this. And I could close those back off. What if I did... What if I tried the bottom first? No, it's not gonna... I don't know. Ooh, can I do... I could put all of them together. That would be fine. But I can't put them together. What if I do... Let's see, hold on a second. What if... No, that's not going to work. If I do this... Ha! I was trying to separate these into two separate groups, and that's why it wasn't working. So, now that I'm not doing that anymore... Oh. I'm so glad these rooms are not yellow and whatnot. It's just the glass. Oh boy. Oh boy. Is this me still? There's no way I can separate all these colors. There was some other rule that I don't remember. You don't have to separate all the colors, you just can't have... Oh, maybe you do have to separate all the colors. No? Something about pairs? No. All colors have to be on one side. I don't remember this rule. Dang it. Gosh. This was just all the colors have to be separated, which I don't even see a way to reasonably, like, there's no way I can separate. Well, maybe. No. See, yeah, there's just there's no way to make this many separations. Like, I can't. Separate these out. I can separate that one out. I can separate that one out. I can even do that, but... Oh, geez. I might have to go revisit the rules with the different colored squares. Because this... I mean, I don't think this is learning, and I'm pretty sure we learned it somewhere else. I could totally be off. What is up? Nothing, because it's not powered. So we have to figure this one out. And in order to figure this out, separating all of the colors. I don't think it's separate all the colors. It's just not possible to separate all the colors. Is it pairs? Was it pairs of colors? No. Because we have singles. Stop. I mean, in order to actually separate them out, we have to come out here. It's literally impossible to separate out every single color. There's no way. Because you have to do this, which you'd also have to do this. So... maybe... pretty sure I tried this already. What was it? I do not remember. Because it has always just been like a couple colors, and now there's more. And they still have to be separated out completely, that was the weird thing. These are showing them all. Every single one of these is no color can touch any other color. They touch only themselves, but I just... maybe I've been doing too many other kinds of puzzles. I just don't see how you can separate them out that well. Like, can't go both ways. Just, I can't do that. Like, there's just, I'm not seeing it. Come back here, separate that out, separate that out. Can I do like, no. What about pairs? Pairs. Nope. Too many. Oh gosh. Okay, let's come back. I need a change of pace. We've got about 15 minutes to burn. I'm definitely sure that that is the top of the circle for an environmental thing. I think our best bet is to... there's a circle for sure. Have I got up here? like I've gone up here. Oh man. This is cool. Another laser. We haven't gone under into all that. Definitely looks like it could be circle. Ooh. That's cool. These are the sound symbols. But I hear no sound. Weird. No, okay, we don't know how to do this. I have those darn bird tunes in my head. Look at that. Nice. It's not the one I expected you to go to. Alright, sure. Interesting. Taking a picture or recording, they're like trying to break this thing. It says no power. What are they doing? Interesting. Very interesting. What else? Any other circles we can find? I feel like there should be more up here. It's got like tools. I'm very discouraged. Maybe they were trying to stop whatever's going on. He's protecting his research. She's mad at him. Look what you've done. So on and so forth. Interesting. The way that these waves hit. A lot of people have these chisels out or something, like they're trying to... Oh, look at this. I see. Showing me this, maybe in case you haven't figured it out yet. This is kind of your clue. Possibly. And this is when you realize, once you get up here, maybe, I don't know. Very much perfectly lined up with it. Oh, yeah, let's listen to this.
Up there, you go around every hour and a half, time after time after time. You wake up usually in the mornings, and just the way that the track of your orbits go, you wake up over the Mideast, over North Africa. As you eat breakfast, you look out the window as you're going past, and there's the Mediterranean area, and Greece, and Rome, and North Africa, and the Sinai, the whole area. And you realize that in one glance, that what you're seeing is what was the whole history of man for years, the cradle of civilization. And you go around down across North Africa and out over the Indian Ocean, and look up at that great subcontinent of India, pointed down toward you as you go past it. And Ceylon off to the side, Burma, Southeast Asia, out over the Philippines, and up across that monstrous Pacific Ocean. Vast body of water. You've never realized how big that is before. And you finally come up across the coast of California and look for those friendly things. Los Angeles and Phoenix and on across El Paso. And there's Houston. There's home. And you look, and sure enough, there's the Astrodome. And you identify with that, you know? It's an attachment. and down across New Orleans, and then looking down to the south, and there's the whole peninsula of Florida laid out. And all the hundreds of hours you spent flying across that route, down in the atmosphere, all that is friendly again. And you go out across the Atlantic Ocean and back across Africa. And you do it again and again and again. And that identity that you identify with Houston, and then you identify with Los Angeles and Phoenix and New Orleans and everything. And the next thing you recognize in yourself is you're identifying with North Africa. You look forward to that. You anticipate it. And there it is. That whole process begins to shift of what it is you identify with. When you go around it in an hour and a half, you begin to recognize that your identity is with that whole thing. And that makes a change. You look down there, and you can't imagine how many borders and boundaries you crossed again and again and again. And you don't even see them. At that wake-up scene, the Mid-East, you know there are hundreds of people killing each other over some imaginary line that you can't see. From where you see it, the thing is a whole, and it's so beautiful. And you wish you could take one from each side in hand and say, look at it from this perspective. Look at that. What's important? And so a little later on, your friend, again those same neighbors, another astronaut, the person next to you goes out to the moon. And now he looks back and sees the Earth not as something big where he can see the beautiful details, but he sees the Earth as a small thing out there. And now that contrast between that bright blue and white Christmas tree ornament and that black sky, that infinite universe, really comes through. The size of it, the significance of it, it becomes both things. It becomes so small and so fragile, and such a precious little spot in that universe that you can block it out with your thumb. And you realize that on that small spot, that little blue and white thing is everything that means anything to you. All of history and music and poetry and art and war and death and birth and love, tears, joy, games, all of it is on that little spot out there that you can cover with your thumb. And you realize that that perspective, that you've changed, that there's something new there. That relationship is no longer what it was. And then you look back on the time when you were outside on that EVA and those few moments that you had the time because the camera malfunctioned, that you had the time to think about what was happening. And you recall staring out there at the spectacle that went before your eyes. Because now you're no longer inside something with a window looking out at a picture, but now you're out there. And what you've got around your head is a goldfish bowl, and there are no limits here. There are no frames. There are no boundaries. You're really out there, over it, floating, going 25,000 miles per hour, ripping through space, a vacuum, and there's not a sound. There's a silence, the depth of which you've never experienced before. And that silence contrasts so markedly with the scenery and the speed with which you know you're going. That contrast, the mix of those two things, really comes through. And you think about what you're experiencing and why. Do you deserve this? This fantastic experience? Have you earned this in some way? Are you separated out to be touched by God to have some special experience here that other men cannot have? You know the answer to that is no. There's nothing that you've done that deserves that earned that. It's not a special thing for you. You know very well at that moment, and it comes through to you so powerfully that you're the sensing element for man. You look down and see the surface of that globe that you've lived on all this time, and you know all those people down there. They are like you. They are you. And somehow you represent them when you are up there. A sensing element, that point out on the end, and that's a humbling feeling. It's a feeling that says you have a responsibility. It's not for yourself. The eye that doesn't see does not do justice to the body. That's why it's there. That's why you're out there. And somehow you recognize that you're a piece of this total life. You're out on that forefront and you have to bring that back somehow. And that becomes a rather special responsibility. It tells you something about your relationship with this thing we call life. And when you come back, there's a difference in that world now. There's a difference in that relationship between you and that planet, and you and all those other forms of life on that planet, because you've had that kind of experience. It's a difference, and it's so precious. And all through this, I've used the word you because it's not me. It's not Dave Scott. It's not Dick Gordon, Pete Conrad, John Glenn. It's you. It's us. It's we. It's life. It's had that experience. And it's not just my problem to integrate. It's not my challenge to integrate, my joy to integrate. It's yours. It's everybody's. Russell Schweikart, 1975.
I like how they put that in that particular spot, kind of almost also reflecting on the game itself as you're going out through all these different areas and kind of, God, there's something wrong with my mouse too. Going out through all these different areas and doing it again as we find out there's more stuff to look for. So it was very interesting to me. However, and I also feel like I've kind of got this figured out. It's a so it's a 3 minus. This is almost a minus a block, minus 2 blocks, minus 1 block, minus 2 blocks, and it does have to be in that orientation, minus 1 block, and they have to be in the same shape. So I don't know what it did, unfortunately. Maybe I have to take a different block out. Maybe that's... I don't know. I'm not sure. But I'm going to have to work on my mouse. So, luckily we're at about the end of our time. So I want to thank you all for watching again. I appreciate it. I know we started out on a rough note, and I apparently forgot a rule in there too, so I'll have to go revisit some old stuff before we get back to this again. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'll see you guys there. Good morning, good night, see you later, and take care. This is Striker, signing out.